Hello, everybody. It's Brian. Um, so today I'm going to be doing my mock off season on the Buffalo Bills. As you guys should probably know, I am a Buffalo Bills fan. I think we have a very complicated season ahead of us. Um, you know, being that we have a first year head coach coming in. Granted, he does have, a lot of familiarity with the roster and with the organization, but regardless, he is a first year head coach and we are in a win now situation. We're not very, we're pretty damn tight on money and yet there are some big moves that we're going to have to consider making this offseason. And he's we're kind of in a situation where normally a first year head coach has a little bit of leniency, but being that we are a playoff contending team year in and year out, and Josh Allen's not getting any younger, and not only does the entire organization but the entire fan base of the Buffalo Bills want Josh Allen to win the city their first ring, but he's not getting any younger, so we have very little time to do that. So today I'm going to do a video on how I think this organization should approach this offseason and how we can put Josh Allen and the rest of the Bills in the best possible situation to bring the city of Buffalo their first Lombardi trophy. So let's get into it. So as of right now, it says we're just over 15 million under the cap, or over the cap, I guess. I'm pretty sure that's not completely accurate, but we'll go with it. We're going to have to restructure some people. I think most obviously is to restructure Josh Allen. That frees up 13 million, over 13 million, or 12 million, sorry. Dion Dawkins is another one. We're going to do that. At a void year. A lot of people think we should trade him. I think that's nonsense. We've had one of the best offensive lines in the league the past few years, and getting rid of one of arguably the best player on that offensive line just because he's older is ridiculous. I think maybe if we don't, at least make the Super Bowl this offseason or this next season, maybe we can consider trading Dion Dawkins, but I don't think that's just going to happen. Next up, we're going to trade Dawson Knox. We're going to create a trade uh, because I don't really think it gives me picks. So we're going to trade Dawson Knox to, I don't know, let's say the Eagles. The Eagles need a tight end. So maybe they take him. Where's the Philadelphia? We give them, or they give us, I don't know, a fourth rounder and a future seventh rounder for Dawson Knox. Okay. So we trade Dawson Knox for a fourth this year and a seventh next year. That's fine with me. Frees up money, and we get some draft capital in return for him. Now we are up just about 30 million in cap space. Now we're gonna cut some guys. I think Curtis Samuel is one of the easiest cuts. We release him, that frees up like 6 million right there. If we release Teron Johnson, I've seen a lot of people doing this. Um, I think he would be a very smart cut because from what I'm not the biggest, defensive guru when it comes to football, so maybe I'm wrong, but at least from what I've heard, this 3-4 defense that Jim Leonard's going to come in and run isn't going to rely nearly as heavily on nickels, like nickel corners, as much as what McDermott's 4-3 did. We're going to apply the June 1st, post June 1st cut. That really didn't free up anything, so I'm just going to actually just release him. That frees up just over 1 million. Josh Palmer is a guy that I think we should trade. I'm going to create a trade. Who do we trade him to? Probably the Browns. That would make sense, right? I mean, they're definitely a wide receiver needy team. I'd say we probably get I'd say we could probably get a third round pick from them this year in return for Josh Palmer and I don't know, like a fifth, right? I'd say Josh Palmer and a fifth for a third isn't a bad trade. When Josh Palmer's healthy, he's not a bad wide receiver. He'd make a decent wide receiver too for them. They just need to go get someone else because Jerry Judy's not that guy. At least not anymore. I don't know. Maybe that trade's not realistic, but I feel like it's not that bad. Okay. Is that all I wanted to do, or is there someone else I want to cut? I thought there was someone else I wanted to cut, but I don't really. Oh, I guess McCole Hardman. Um, Release. Oh, where did was that from Josh Palmer trading him? How do we go up to 45? Okay. I think that's about it, right? Oh no, Taylor Rapp. That's who it was. I wanted to release Taylor Rapp. We're gonna release him post June 1st. Actually, no, we're not. We're just gonna cut him right now. All right, that gives us $47 million to work with. I like that. Okay, so now we have to go re-sign some guys. So when it comes to our free agents, our pending free agents, I think there's a few guys that we need to re-sign. First off, we need to bring back one of our free agent alignment, and those two would be Connor McGovern and David Edwards. A lot of people are split between who we should bring back. I think it should be David Edwards. His market value has him at 3 years, 60 million. If we were to do that, his cap hit this year would be just over 7.6 million. I don't think that's bad. I'd say we could add a void year that gives us less money this year. I think that's what we do. 3 year, $60 million contract with void years. I think we sign him. Another guy I think we sign, Shaq Thompson, easily. Our linebacker room is going to need basically a complete overhaul. I think that's what we're going to end up doing is overhauling this. I like apparently his market values at 2.4 million. I feel like it's going to be higher than that, so I'm going to bump it up. Hold on. So we're going to say a 1 year, 14.48 thousand. I think a $14.5 million deal for 1 year for a guy like Mike Evans is not a bad deal at all. Honestly, I mean, we did that last year with Joey Bosa, brought him in for what, 1 year, $12.5 million deal. He's way more injury prone than Mike Evans, I think. And I think Mike Evans definitely has a higher floor. I think Bosa did have a higher ceiling than a guy like Mike Evans because in Bosa's prime, he's been one of the most deadly defenders on the field. Mike Evans, obviously in his prime, he was a 1,600 yard receiver, but he never was like a 1,800 receiver, like, or yard receiver, but he's always been a consistent 1,000 yard receiver, which is something we haven't had in over 2 years since Stephon Diggs. He's a lot better of a locker room presence than Stephon Diggs. I think he's a way better guy. He's a way better mentor and leader for our team and for our locker room and for our wide receiving core. I think he's a guy that we would definitely want to have on the roster, especially at a cheaper deal like a 1 year, $14.48 million. I'm going to go with this. I like this signing a lot. Some people might not. It only gives us just over $10 million in a cap hit this season, which is not that bad. So I think that's what we're going to do. I think that's what we should do. Now, there are some other younger receivers here. Like, we could go, like, obviously, there's George Pickens, but I just don't see him leaving Dallas. I think they already said they're expected to franchise tag him, but even if they don't, I just don't see us doing that. That just doesn't sound like a Brandon Bean move to me. We could go and get maybe a Tyquan Thornton. His market value is at 1 year, 2.85 million. He's another good. I At least from what I saw of him in Kansas City this season, he was a pretty decent deep threat. I think he'd be a okay rotational guy to swap in with like Keon Coleman or Tyrell Shavers, but I don't know. I do want to draft someone, so I just don't see, it being worth it. Calvin Austin, another guy that don't I'll pass. Uh, Jalen Tolbert, like Sky Moore, Sterling Shepard, Zay Jones, Tim Patrick. None of these guys are really. Keenan Allen, he's another veteran presence, but I think Mike Evans still has a lot more left in the tank compared to him. Christian Kirk wouldn't be bad at all. Tyreek Hill, he's kind of a locker room cancer. When he's healthy, he's obviously amazing, but I don't know. I feel like we just don't need to do that. And I feel like realistically, we're not going to get one of these big name guys like Justin Jefferson or AJ Brown or who else is it that Jalen Waddle would be an intriguing one. I would love Jalen Waddle. I think if we don't go out and try and bring Mike Evans in on a 1 year veteran deal, I think Jalen Waddle should be our number one priority. Maybe giving up a second this year and then a third and a fifth or something next year. I think if the Dolphins would take that, I'd say absolutely we go out and get Jalen Waddle. But I just don't see us doing that. I mean, well, I do if we don't bring in Mike Evans, but I feel like signing Mike Evans out of free agency is the most realistic option to me because I think he checks a lot of boxes. He's got good experience. He's a great deep threat when he's healthy. Yeah, he's, not the healthiest at times, but when he is, and even if he's not, he's at least a great mentor. You know, no money can, buy true experience. So that's the best we can get. So, all right, now this video is running on way too. I'm blabbering a lot. We need to start focusing on defense. We need linebacker, and edge, and safety. So, linebacker, there's a couple guys I want. All right, we're gonna go out and we're gonna do them. Okay, we got 31 million to work with basically. Let's go on a little spending spree. Alex Singleton from the Denver Broncos. He has a lot of familiarity with our new defensive coordinator, Jim Leonard. He plays really well in the 3-4 defense that we're going to start conducting this offseason in this training camp. So he will have a ton of experience in this new formation that we're going to have to get used to. He knows our defensive coordinator, like the back of his hand. And overall, I think he will be an instant day one plug and play starter at the outside linebacker position. And for 2 years, 9.3 million, I don't have any problems with that. He's another veteran presence. I don't think he's been very injury prone. Unless I'm wrong, Broncos fans let me know. Maybe he's not all that, but from what I've heard and what I've seen, he looks pretty decent, especially for $9.5 million for 2 years. I'll take it. So we'll sign him. And then there's one more linebacker that I do want to get, and no, it's not the other Broncos linebacker. It's actually the other Chiefs linebacker. It's not whatever that last name is. He's down here. Leo Chenal from the Kansas City Chiefs. Okay. This guy, he's young. Well, only 26, maybe 27. He's young. He's got good talent. From what I've seen, he's a good tackler. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think I am. He checks a lot of boxes for me. He elevates this linebacker room. He brings a lot more lot or he brings a higher ceiling to our defensive front seven if we were to bring him in. 3 years for 3 year $14 million deal. I'd say that's definitely worth it. I think that's something we should definitely consider doing, and I think that's something we should and hopefully will do. That's what I'm going to do is sign him to that market contract of 3 years, 14 million. I feel like he might end up making more than that, but I feel like we pay him more if he needs more, like 3 year 18, 3 year 19. And I think that's all we really got to do for linebackers because we still have Shaq Thompson and Terrell Bernard and Dorian Williams on the team. Matt Milano walked, I know that. Sad to see. All right. Now we need safety. Safety is definitely something we could address in the draft. Um, I mean, there's Brian Cook. He's young. I like him. Jaquan Brisker might be a little out of our price range. 3 year, 30 million. No, I don't know how much I like that. Um, Jabril Peppers, maybe. CJ Gardner Johnson. I wouldn't mind him, but I'm pretty sure he's kind of a locker room cancer too. Kobe Bryant, he was pretty good for the Seahawks, I thought. I feel like they'll probably try and retain him. Ardarius Washington, he's a guy I wouldn't mind. I thought he was decent for the Ravens when he was a rotational guy. Andre Cisco is another younger guy who has, I think, decent upside. Maybe a lower floor though. Kyle Duggar, I'm good. He's more of a play in the box tackler, which is what Cole Bishop kind of is. I don't know. I don't think Cole Bishop's that bad in coverage, though. I've seen some people say that they want him to play strictly in the box as a tackler, run defender. But I thought he was good in coverage. I thought he was pretty damn good at coverage, too. I don't know. I think Jaquan Brisker's pushing it. I do like Brian Cook, though. He might be out of our price range, too. He's 4 year, 56 million. Jabril Peppers. You know what? Screw it. Let's go. Where was he? Let's go Ardarius Washington. I don't mind that actually. I don't really know if he's more of a tackler. I don't know much about him, but I thought he was pretty good. I'm kind of a casual, so bear with me, guys. Um, let's go. Let's give him a 2 year deal worth 4.3 million. I think a 2 year, $4.3 million deal for Ardarius Washington isn't bad. At worst, he's a rotational depth safety, and we can draft a guy around 3 to rotate with him. Maybe we bring in a veteran guy like I don't know. Cameron Curl wouldn't be bad either. He's what 27 years old. He's been pretty good with the Rams. I feel like he'll probably end up staying there though. Sign him to that. All right, what's Cameron Curl's? Yeah, 4 year, 40 million. That's not bad. But it's Geno Stone. I don't want him, but Donovan Wilson is horrible from what I've heard. I have a Cowboys friend who said he's horrible. At least I thought he did. Okay, I think that fills the safety need. And then edge. I mean, we're not going to get we're not going to go out and get Trey Hendrickson. I don't think there's really a need. We're running a 3-4, so really most of our edge pressure is going to come from outside linebackers like Alex Singleton, Leo Chenal, Greg Rousseau will be playing, obviously. I think our main focus on the D line should be defensive tackle, interior D lineman. We already got Ed Oliver. He's a veteran. He's good when he's healthy. Deion Walker looked up phenomenal his rookie year, especially for a fourth rounder. He's a guy that really should have been a second rounder. We really should have taken him in the second round over TJ Sanders. But I'm not complaining because we got him in the fourth round. I just don't think we should have traded up for TJ. But that's a story for another day. Jalen Phillips, I wouldn't mind. Odafe Owe definitely is a great looking prospect. Not prospect, but player. But he's out of our price range. I don't know why Joshua Uche is right there. That's where okay. I think honestly we're probably good in free agency. Hold on. What is going on, dude? My thing's all sorts of messed up. Like, what is this? Huh. Okay, that's so there's strong safety, there's free safety, and then there's just safety? Odd. Anyway, okay. Is there any yeah, I don't think we really need to sign a center. We brought back Alec Anderson. Speaking of which, I think I have to do that. I don't think they did that in this. Maybe they did. Should be down here, right? Extend 1 year, 3 million. Okay. All right. All right. So now I think we can move on to the draft. Honestly, well, actually, I do kind of want to make a trade. All right. Hear me out. I know I said we were going to draft a wide receiver. I think we could trade for one too. You want to be completely honest? You want me to be completely honest? I think. Hear me out. Hear me out. Where is it? Oh, wait. I think I passed it. Right here. No, and it's not Justin Jefferson. It's actually the wide receiver 2 on that team, Jordan Addison. Okay. Look. We're going to give up our second round this year, a fourth, and a sixth next year. Okay. For Jordan Addison. A second, a fourth, and a sixth for Jordan Addison. Book it right now. Now we have Mike Evans and Jordan Addison on this team. And now we can go focus on edge in the first round. Okay. So, what we're going to do is we're going to go over here to this. We're going to do this. We're going to do a 3-round mock draft normal speed. Before we start it, I'm going to trade away the pick to Minnesota. Give them pick 60 and our fourth and our sixth for, we'll say, pick 235. I don't know. Okay. Now let's hit it. Okay, these are just absolutely horrible trades. All right, now we could we don't have to go wide receiver. We have Mike Evans, we have Jordan Addison, we have Khalil Shakir, Keon Coleman, and Terrell Shavers. I think we're pretty much good at wide receiver. I think if we trade for Jordan Addison and we retain our first round pick and we sign Mike Evans, I don't think we have to draft one. If we only get one or the other, then I think we do. But since I did us a favor by getting both Mike Evans and Jordan Addison, I think we will be just fine. Maybe we could still hit wide receiver in the third round. I don't think we really should. I think we'll probably end up drafting a safety to rotate with who was it that we took in the free agency? I don't even know. Who did we take in free agency? Hold on, let me. Oh wait, that's the wrong website, isn't it? Right here. We took our Darius Washington. Yeah, we could definitely get somewhere in the third round to rotate with them, compete for the starting job. I think we could go and just take best player available. Obviously, that's not going to be Caden. We're not going to take an offensive lineman. It's one of our biggest strengths. Granted, he could play guard, so we could redo it to where we sign Connor McGovern instead and then put Proctor in at guard. I don't think that's necessary, though. We could triple dip at wide receiver and get Denzel Boston, but I feel like going out and getting Mike Evans, Jordan Addison, and Denzel Boston is overdoing it because we're only going to run with three wide receivers, one in the slot being Khalil Shakir, and then we're going to run probably with Mike Evans and Addison on the outside with Coleman and Shavers as the rotationals. I don't think we're going to need a first round wide receiver to be our wide receiver four. So I think we could address a bigger need being edge probably. TJ Parker's still there. Let's look. TJ Parker, Cassius Howell's a guy that's going to go a lot higher than 49. We could go out and get him. We could, you know, Joshua Josephs and Derek Moore are two really good prospects in my eyes, but they're not first round guys. Akeem Mesidor just went before us, and I think he was a guy that I probably would have taken. Jacob Rodriguez is here. Anthony Hill's there. I think these are both second round guys. Josiah Trotter's also a second round guy, in my opinion. Safety, Emmanuel McNeil Warren's definitely a first round guy. Dylan Thieneman is a first round guy, I think. Halsey and Ramsey are second round guys, in my opinion. Kilgore's probably a third round. Same with Genesis Smith and Bud Clark. Michael Taffy is probably a fourth. Lee Hunter's there. We could get Lee Hunter. I think TJ Sanders has been kind of underwhelming. Granted, he didn't play a whole lot, but when he did, I didn't see much out of him. Obviously, Deion Walker and Ed Oliver have both been, Ed Oliver's been hurt. He just came back against the Broncos when we lost in the playoffs. I think if we were to bring in a Lee Hunter or Caden McDonald, it wouldn't hurt. You know what? Let's read Lee Hunter. He's 6'3", 320 pounds, 24 years old, so he's a little older. Um, in 2023 and 2024 with UCF, he had 4 sacks and 20 and a half TFLs. And then he went to Texas Tech this year where he had 2.5 sacks, 8.5 tackles for loss. He had an impact rate of 81.9. This has him at around 6'4", 325 instead of that, which is kind of weird. He's an anchor, combo blocks, motor. I wouldn't mind Lee Hunter, Kenny McDonald. Wait, he's about the same size, 6'3", 325. So tells me this guy would be a great nose tackle, which kind of what Deion Walker is. At least I'm pretty sure he is. I don't know. I do like Lee Hunter more in my opinion. I think honestly, you guys might get mad at me for it. I think we go Lee Hunter here. Dead ass. Yeah, we're gonna go Lee Hunter in the first round. Beef up that interior defensive line, and then we obviously don't have a second round pick because we traded away for Jordan Addison. We traded what, a second this year and then a fourth and a sixth next year. This is gonna take forever, guys. I'm sorry. I don't think I can go faster. I should have put it on fast, shouldn't I? We'll probably end up going safety here. I don't, I mean, unless there's a good wide receiver for being in the late third round that we go, I don't see us really going offense. See, Jacob Rodriguez just went, and that really pisses me off because that's kind of exactly who I wanted. So let's see. Let's check wide receiver. Zachary Branch, okay, he's still there. That wouldn't be a bad pickup. Malachi Fields also wouldn't be bad for being in the third round. I feel like Malachi's getting hyped where he'll probably go early second. I think Zachariah will probably go late second, maybe mid. I don't think either of these two guys from here to here, I don't think either of these guys really fall out of the second round. I'd be surprised if they did. They'd have to be really bad at the combine. Linebacker, Harold Perkins, Tareen York. Not really any good players left. Safeties, Jalen Kilgore, Bud Clark are still here. Michael Taffe, he's still here. Taffy, I don't know how to pronounce it. Sorry. Corners, I don't really want any corners anyway. I mean, we just brought back, Joshua Josephs is still here. That's surprising to me. I didn't really want to go edge, but if Joshua Josephs is still here, I feel like this is unrealistic. Same with Romello Heights still being here. I feel like both these guys go second round. But if he's still here, I'm definitely going to take Joshua Josephs. I think we're going to double down on that defensive line. Try and generate as much pass rush as we can. I think Joshua Josephs is a little undersized, but I think he does have good hands. I think he's got great explosiveness from what I've seen and what I've read. I think he could be a guy that Jim Leonard might want to utilize because what's his size? Yeah, 6'3", 235. That's not horrible size for like an outside linebacker, like a weak side linebacker. I feel like that's a guy that maybe he'd want to sub in with Leo Chenal or Alex Singleton once in a while. I don't mind that in the third round. He's definitely a second round talent in my opinion. So getting him in the late third round really would not be bad at all, even if it's not a positional need. Because we still got Landon Jackson, who's a raw athletic freak, but he's coming off of a pretty bad injury. But that is my mock off season. To recap, we cleared a lot of money by restructuring some guys, cut some guys. We cut Teron Johnson, Curtis Samuel, Taylor Rapp, traded Josh Palmer, Dawson Knox. And then free agency, we brought in at wide receiver, we brought in Mike Evans. Then on the defensive side, we brought in Leo Chenal, Alex Singleton, Ardarius Washington. And then, we re-signed some guys like Trey White, Shaq Thompson to bolster that linebacker room. We made a big trade for Jordan Addison to complement Mike Evans. And then in the draft, we beefed up our interior defensive line room by getting a stud in Lee Hunter at 26, who I think could be pretty good value and could play really well in that 3-4 with that Oliver Deion Walker and rotate with TJ. Then we got Joshua Josephs in the third round, who I think is easily a second round player. Um, so let me know what you think about my mock offseason. If the Buffalo Bills did exactly what I did today, I think we would have a great chance at least making it to the Super Bowl, if not winning it. So, but who knows? Obviously, Brandon Beane's not going to see this. Obviously, he's not going to take any pages out of my book. as I'm just a 16-year-old casual Bills fan sitting here in um, my room on a Sunday night recording this. So he's not really, he's not going to take any professional advice from me. But if Bean and the Bills front office were to run this offseason exactly how I played it out to be, I would be one happy camper. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. If you like this video, please like. If you didn't, still please like, and then hate on me in the comments all you want. But do share this with your football friends if you think they would get a kick, either a kick out of my no ball knowledge, or if you think they would actually like my opinions. I am going to try and be posting more, so hopefully we get that done. I do have another video already recorded that'll probably get out after this one. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.